Hi guys, my name is Carly Winters and I will be giving y'all my teaching presentation over PHP variables today. Sorry, wrong button, and jumping right into it. What is a variable? Variables store information. Think of it like a container. It holds your information and you call for it to use it. So to declare your variables, you have to start with a $sign. And then immediately after that $sign, you must start with a letter or underscore. You can never start with a number, though. It makes your code very unhappy, and just don't do it. And also remember that variables in PHP are case sensitive, meaning that if you type out your variable in all lower caps and you call for it in uppercase, your code is not going to know what you're talking about, and it's not going to be able to find it. And also finally about PHP variables is that you don't need to define them, which is super nice. PHP kind of does it for you. So if you're familiar with Java or C++, where you have to define that variable a little bit before you use it, you don't have to do that here, and that's really nice. All right, variable scopes. So your scope is essentially where your code is used and where you can reference it, and that's kind of the best way I think of it. So to make more sense out of that, there's three types. There's local, global, and static. A local variable is defined within a single function, and it's used within that single function. And that is its scope, is within that one function. Because if you tried to use it outside of the scope, it wouldn't make sense. Now, moving on to global, that is a variable defined outside of a function, but it's used within the function, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in a minute. I kind of just want to talk about everything and then show you. All right, so static is when you run through code and you finish a function and you move on to another, that information tends to be forgotten. So if you use the keyword static when you type out your variable, it will remember to keep that information. So hopping over to my code now. This is just a code I typed out really fast. It's just a greeting. As you can see here, this is my variable. This is a good variable. It works. It does what it needs to do. And this is all it does. It just says, hello classmates, today's date is May 14th, 2019. It's 11:30 p.m. It's not actually 11:30 for me. It's just the server I'm connected to, apparently. So, fun fact. Okay, and then I also wanted to show y'all what it looked like if you tried to use this is the same code. The only difference is that I put a number in front of it. And as you can see with all this red going on, my code's not happy. It's because the naming of my variable. And to fix it, all you have to do is change the name. If you were to still try and run it, though, you would just get a white page with this line on it, and it would tell you your file path and where the error is on your page. All right, so now moving on to scopes, what I was talking to you about earlier. This is a local scope because your variable is defined within the function, you're calling for it within the function, and it can only work within this function. So I'll show you what this code does. It's just showing you my variable is 0.25. And that's all it's doing. Moving on to a global scope. As you can see here, my variables are defined before the function. My function's right here. And then I have to call for them. So there's two ways to call for global functions. Global variables, sorry. Firstly, you can do global, name of the variable. There's multiple, use a comma, and then always end with a semicolon, and then you're going to tell it what you want it to do. Or the other way, which is what I prefer to do just because it's one line, simple and clean, and it's kind of a combination of these two lines into one. So you're calling for your global variables using globals, and the name of it, what you're doing with it. In this case, take note, it's all just being moved right here. So yeah, calling for the global variables, name of it, again, calling for the globals, notice these variables, and the name of the variable. So the reason why this works is because when you create a global variable, it kind of goes into an array, and so you can write it out like this. Excuse me, sorry. And it'll recognize, oh, these are the variables you're pulling. We can make that happen. So yeah, all that code does is it just tells you the total of your two variables is 14.598. And that's all this code does. Finally, we have static. So to make static work, all you have to do is say static, $, name a variable, whatever it's going to be inside the variable. In this case, it's 0. And the function itself, all it's doing is saying echo the variable, increment it. That's all it's doing. So yeah, it should just output 0, 1, 2 with every time we run the test. So 0, 1, 2. Yep, and that's all that code does. So finally, I just wanted to touch on this concept called variables. It's confusing, to be honest, so I'm going to heavily encourage y'all, if y'all want to learn more about variables, to go to www.php.net/manual, because this really has all your needs for coding with PHP. But yeah, essentially, it's a way to manipulate your variables into getting certain outputs. In this case, with this example, all it's telling you is that $A, let me start over. $A equals hello, $A equals world, echo these two things, or like this, and you should get hello world. Yeah, it's essentially a way of manipulating variables, and yeah, just be careful with these, and if you want to learn more, go to php.net/manual, and because this is a great resource, and you can learn anything you need to know about PHP from this manual. So yeah, that's all I have, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have questions, comment below in the discussion board, and I will try to answer them as best as I can. Hopefully you learned something. And yeah, have a great day. Bye.